The 4 logical reasons why human being can reincarnate into animals. Xiefeng. March 20, 2021. There are many cases recorded in books about the reincarnation of people into animals. There are also many cases of the use of hypnosis in contemporary Western society to remind people that they have been animals in previous lives. Readers who are interested can search for articles about people's reincarnation into animals on the internet. Human beings can reincarnate into animals, and animals can also reincarnate into human beings. The logical reasoning is as follows. The sum of positive and negative energies in the universe is 0. This is a law of the universe. This law tells us that what we get is always equal to what we give. If you get something, you must pay. If you pay, you will get it. Otherwise, there would be no rules of heaven, also it's a loss of justice and fairness. From this law we can know that, when one receives something from someone else, he must repay it in some way. There are many ways to repay, one of which is to become animals raised by creditors, which can be pigs, dogs, cattle, horses, sheep, chickens, etc. Therefore, there is a folk saying, I cannot repay your great kindness, I would like to be one of your cattle or your horse in the next life. This is true. There are not many people who raise animals in modern society, especially those who grow up and live in cities. It is difficult for people to become domesticated animals to repay their debts. They can only go to large farms to reincarnate and provide meat for human being to compensate for their debts. Life is a kind of non-material structure with spirituality. Usually people call it a soul, and its essence is consciousness. Whatever kind of consciousness you have, you will be reincarnated into that kind of life. This is also a law, also called the law of heaven. When observing people according to this law, you will find that there are quite a few people in the population whose state of consciousness is not much different from a certain type of animal but can also be very similar to a certain animal in nature that it can even be compared to. Therefore, these people will reincarnate into animals after their physical bodies die. There is a law of life balance in the universe, which tells us that life is always in a state of dynamic balance, just like the ratio of men and women in human beings is always maintained at 51 to 49, although in a specific time and place, the ratio may exceed 51 to 49, but macroscopically, this ratio remains unchanged, which is called dynamic balance. In nature, the number of any species has an upper limit. Once the upper limit is exceeded, the balance mechanism will come into effect, and the number will decline and be reduced. From this we know that there will be a transformation between humans and animals. Once there are more people, there will be fewer animals, and once there are fewer people, there will be more animals. Where do these other animals come from? They are reincarnated from human beings. The human world is a transfer station for life at all levels. This is what I discovered when I observed the continent of the 3 realms that lives pass through. That is to say, human beings, but not only human beings, but there are also gods, Buddhas, immortals, demons, spirits, monsters, ghosts, lions, tigers, wolves, cows, horses, pigs, sheep, chickens, dogs, etc. among them. Except insects, microorganisms, shrimps, flowers, and some trees that do not participate in the life reincarnation system, all other kinds of life have their own representatives living in human society in the form of human beings. This phenomenon shows that animals can become human beings, and human beings can become animals. From the above 4 laws, the laws of heaven, it can be concluded that people can reincarnate into animals. Knowing this truth gives us the following 4 revelations and warnings. Never owe debts to others. This debt includes economic debts and emotional debts, as well as debts owed to nature. Even if it is obtained from parents and children, it must be repaid. Examine whether there is a certain animal consciousness in your consciousness. If so, get rid of it as soon as possible. Do not harm domestic animals and wild animals as much as possible, otherwise you will be in great danger of being reincarnated into the animal world. Listen to the teachings of sages and try to stay away from demons and spirits. What one should always keep in mind is that divine punishments are slow but sure, like big nets that let nothing slip through them, and heaven will not spare anyone.